Once again, we ask you to turn your attention to our video boards as we introduce our next enshrinee for the class of 2017, Coach Don Clayton. As he prepares to begin his 19th season as the head football coach and athletic coordinator at Cinco Ranch High School, Don Clayton is one of the most influential and successful coaches in the greater Houston and Golden Triangle region. Previous coaching stops have been at Nederland, Beaumont French, A&M Consolidated, Livingston, and Katy. It began back in 1975, where Don graduated from Nederland High School, where he was a three-sport athlete in football, baseball, and track, and followed that up with a career at the University of Wyoming, where he earned 8 letters, 4 in football and 4 in baseball, while earning all conference honors in football his senior year. He played in the Fiesta Bowl his sophomore year and signed as a free agent with the Buffalo Bills as a punter following his collegiate career. He earned his master's in administrative education from Stephen F. Austin State University. At Katy High School, Don was part of the 1997 state championship team and was also the school's Teacher of the Year. Coach Clayton opened Cinco Ranch High School in 1999 from scratch and has developed a highly competitive athletic program with 7 top 10 finishes in the UIL Governor's Cup. He and his staff have built all of the programs from the ground up, and they continue to succeed at all levels. Along the way, Don and his staff have been recognized as the Houston Touchdown Club Coach of the Year, District Coach of the Year, Houston Texans Coach of the Week, the 2014 Marine Semper Fidelis Coach of the Year Award, Texas Football's Army Team of the Week, and Katy ISD Coach of the Year. Don has served as the THSCA Director for Region 5, with 2 terms on the board of the GHFCA, President of the GHFCA, and currently serves on the Executive Board of the Greater Houston Football Coaches Association. He is also serving on the state 7-on-7 Board of Directors, serving a term as President, is on the task force for the nationwide 7-on-7 with the NCAA and NFHS, and is on the Houston Touchdown Club's Player of the Year Committee. Don also served on the advisory board of the Houston Bowl and on the Coaching Boys into Men advisory board for the Texas Council on Family Violence. He is active weekly in the CRHS Coaches Outreach Bible Study. Coach Clayton has coached in the THSCA All-Star Game as an assistant in 1999 and as head coach of the South in the 2011 game. He has coached in the Bayou Bowl, Texas against Louisiana All-Star Game in 2005, 2011, 2012, and 2013. In 2015, he coached in the South Texas High School All-Star Classic. Don was inducted into the University of Wyoming Athletic Hall of Fame in September 2016 and was inducted into the GHFCA Hall of Honor in May of 2017. Don is married to Rhonda, a retired kindergarten teacher, and they have 2 beautiful daughters, Lindsay, a Texas A&M graduate, and Lacey, a University of Oklahoma graduate, as well as 2 wonderful son-in-laws, Ryan and Logan. They have a grandson, Grant, born in February, and a granddaughter, Kaylin, born in May. Don and his wife are members of the Memorial Church of Christ, and he enjoys time with his family as well as traveling, golfing, and snow skiing. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Don Clayton.
Thanks to Craig Way for the kind words, and it's a dream come true to have the best in the business speak about you. Thank you, Craig. Also, thanks to the committee that has given me this opportunity today. I'm going to start out with a couple of things. I've got a script that I'm supposed to follow according to my wife, and I will for the most part, but I've got a couple of comments to make. First one, the crew over here, I do not expect any delay of game penalties today. I've got things to say, so let's keep the flags in the pockets. Okay. Second thing is, I've got to give a disclaimer. I'm old school, and you got to go. I got to give you a little fact here. Is when I was growing up, I had 4 safe spaces. You know how important safe spaces are these days. It was first base, second base, third base, and home plate. That was my safe spaces. So I'm both humbled and honored to be on the stage today. It's hard to fathom this moment when I started this journey 37 years ago. Every young coach stands in awe of the giants we encounter in the coaching arena. To be in the same Hall of Honor with many of them is truly a lifetime honor. Before I go on, I'd like to make sure I thank many of the people who have been the driving force in helping to shape me through the years. My wife of 35 years, Rhonda, is my rock. The daughter of a coach, she fully understands the daily and yearly challenges we go through. but she does much more than understands. She embodies exactly what a coach's wife should be. She always has the right words. Together, we've raised two beautiful daughters. She gave them all the good character traits while I gave them my stubbornness. From the moment they were born, they've only missed a couple of varsity football games over their respective 18 years until they left for college. They're two wonderful coaches' daughters. Lindsay is our Aggie and is married to Ryan Lane, a Purdue graduate. And they blessed us with a beautiful granddaughter in May, Kaylin Reese Lane. Lacey is our Boomer Sooner and is married to one of our former players, Logan Burlow, an Arkansas graduate, and they blessed us with an awesome grandson in February, Grant Clayton Burlow. Okay, I got it right, Grant. You know, don't have to tell me about it. We're very excited to have the babies at the games this fall. Being a coach allowed me the pleasure of having our daughters run on the field many times after a game. It also allowed me the opportunity to show off my limited dancing skills over the years as I danced with them in father-daughter halftime dances 5 times. I'm still waiting on my letter jacket. I would also like to recognize my brother Jimmy and his wife Susie and their daughter Katie. Jimmy is a retired high school coach who spent his entire career in the Valley. My sister Shelly and her daughter Tracy couldn't be here. Shelly is 2 years older than me and spent a lot of time helping me work on my skills. She was a great athlete. My in-laws, Don and Maddie Lofton. Don was a long-time junior high coach. He reminded me early on of how important it was to include your junior high coaches in your program. Maddie, my mother-in-law, has always had both daughters dressed for games in a variety of cheerleader outfits. Also joining us are special friends to the family, the Kellners. They have followed my coaching career since the beginning and have been to a whole bunch of games. We appreciate them being here. I lost my father in an accident during my senior football season in college. He grew up in the early part of the Depression, and he didn't get to finish school. That was a desire for his kids, to get a great education. But more than that, he also wanted them to be able to teach, as he felt education was the noblest of professions. I lost my mother 12 years into my coaching career. I know that they both would be very happy today. I've been asked, what made you want to coach? The answer is fairly simple. The men in my life as I was growing up playing sports. My first taste of school football was in the 8th grade, and if you could survive Coach Eisman's occasionally spitting Red Man tobacco on you when talking to you, then you can survive a lot of things. My high school coach, Neil Morgan, really showed me what a high school coach can mean to a young man. I had the honor of being at his birthday cookout in Sabine Pass a couple of years ago, and I still couldn't call him by his first name. I've got that much respect for the man. It's always going to be Coach Morgan. He passed last summer, and again, as I say, he's always, to me, going to be Coach Morgan. Some other coaches from my Nederland days are here today that I appreciate them coming. Kenny Stark, Gary Tyner, Delbert Spell, Roy Kokomore, and Phil Pate. Coach Morgan recommended me to Coach Fred Akers after Coach Akers took the Wyoming head coaching position in the spring of 1975. It was a life-changing decision for me, and I'm glad I made it. It was 1,200 miles away, but it was still a great decision. A quick story on the respect I have for coaches. During my freshman year at Wyoming, many of us freshmen wanted to play, and we were very impatient about it, and we all were high school studs, and it was hard for us not getting to play right away. I got a call from an NAIA school, which is now an NCAA school in Texas, that had recruited me, and they inquired about me wanting to, if I wanted to come back and play for them. So I thought, that's not a bad idea. I'll go get to play. So I went into Coach Akers' office to visit with him about leaving, and he said, wait just a minute. He took a moment, looked into a little notebook, then he dialed the phone on his desk. Someone answered on the other end, and I heard Coach Akers say, how are you doing? Then the next thing I heard him say, Don Clayton wants to tell you that he's thinking about quitting and getting back to a Texas school to play. Then Coach Akers handed me the phone and said, Coach Morgan wants to talk to you. I'll give you the clean version. He said, I didn't coach you to be a quitter. Get your butt back out on the practice field and earn your way. I simply said, yes, sir, and gave the phone back to Coach Akers. And that was the end of the story. No problem there. That's the influence a coach can have on a young man. That definitely left an impression on me, impression with me, and went a long way in showing me my career path. Two other coaches at Wyoming had tremendous influence on me. Coach Bob Warmack, my quarterback coach, taught me the value of building relationships with players. He was the best at it. Just a short time I had with him, a couple of years, he was the best. I always felt so comfortable in working with him, and that's why I've always wanted to coach, is to have players to feel comfortable with me and to perform, obviously, but feel that, hey, we're all on the same page. And the other was Coach Leon Fuller, our defense coordinator, who's from my hometown of Nederland. I was always in awe of him, just a very meticulous about what he did and pretty much very much an intense person. So those are things that I admired in those two. All three of those coaches are high-quality men who left a lasting impression on me. That definitely put me on the path to coaching. My first job was with Lloyd Wasserman, a great man to start a career with. He taught me many things, but the most important was loyalty. I appreciate and value what he did for me in the beginning. After a few moves, I joined the staff of Mike Johnston at Katy in 1984. We were 1-9 that first year, and I wondered what I'd gotten into. But Mike would preach to us almost daily that we were coaching 10-0 football and that the kids would buy in. We were 4-6 the next year, and then the following year, early in the fall meetings before the season, Mike came in and told us that a school board president and told him we'd better win this year. I'm sitting there going, hold on a second, I got a little baby, and this doesn't sound real good, but I knew how hard we worked and knew something was going to happen good, and it did. Everything Mike had put into place, the kids responded. From 1986 on, it all clicked at Katy High School. He had the vision and then had us carry out the plan. He built the program to last. What a great man to look up to when building a program. When we opened Cinco Ranch in 1999, the goal was to develop an entire athletic program that would be built to last. To the credit of our coaches, it's been very gratifying to see that done. I would also like to thank a few more special people. Dr. Leonard Merrill and Dr. Lowell Strike, the superintendent and principal, who trusted me with building an athletic program from scratch at Cinco Ranch High School. Then Mr. Alton Fraley and Miss Bonnie Brasic, two very good friends and leaders, as well as high-quality professionals. And thanks to our current superintendent, Dr. Lance Hint, and our current principal, Mr. James Cross, and his staff, I thank them for all that they do. I must be through. Just a few more seconds, Joe. I would also like to thank our Executive Director of Athletics, Debbie Decker, and her staff for all their support. A big thanks goes to our current football staff and trainers. They're a special group. They're a great group. The job they did last year was tremendous, and I appreciate them greatly day to day, and I look forward to this year. I would also like to thank our team doctor and one of my former players, Rick Adams, who's been with us for all 18 years and is an invaluable part of our program. A big thanks to some great parents of whom I've had the honor of coaching their kids and having their tremendous support. Ed Moser, Gene Yanichewski, Gil Harris, Bobby Wade, Darren Strawn, David and Katie Klingler. Also a big thanks to some great coaching friends who've helped me over the years. Paul Essery, Kenny Harrison, Tim Takel, Mark Coley. I know the coaching ranks are in great shape with the next generation of coaches like James Clancy, Ronald Patton, Grady Rowe. In closing, in the last 57 years, there's been 294 members inducted into the THSCA Hall of Honor. And I've had the great fortune of having a number of them who have helped me greatly throughout my career. Men such as Randy Allen, Bruce Bush, Oscar Cripps, Marty Criswell, Lynn Etheridge, Bob Gillis, Sam Harrell, Larry Hill, Mike Honeycutt, Joe Martin, Neil Quillen, Ross Rogers, D.W. Rutledge, Hugh Sandifer, Ray Seals, Jim Slaughter, and Jim Streety. A big thanks to those men. Also, finally, a big congratulations to the state champions being recognized here today. We all know what a challenge and obviously then what an accomplishment that is. Also, the variety of award winners. Tommy, great. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. I'm glad they got that on video because a lot of folks need to see that. You spoke from the heart, and that was great. And also to the other 4 Hall of Honor recipients and their families, we wish you the very best. Again, thank you very much for this honor.